Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Dr. Razia. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we will discuss about a very important topic of the renal physiology, which is the micturition. So micturition, it is a process by which the urinary bladder empties when it becomes filled. This process involves the two main steps. First, the bladder fills progressively until the tension of its wall rises above the threshold level. This tension elicits the second step, which is nervous reflex called as the micturition reflex. Once urine enters the renal pelvis, it flows through the ureter and enters the bladder where urine is stored. Micturition is the process of emptying the urinary bladder. So, the two processes are involved. The bladder fills progressively until the tension in its wall rises above the threshold level, and the second nervous reflex called the micturition reflex occurs that empty the bladder. So, micturition reflex is an automatic spinal cord reflex. However, it can be inhibited or facilitated by the centers in the brainstem and the cerebral cortex. So, first of all, in this figure, you can see the urinary bladder or their nervous regulation. So, how the innervation of the bladder will be take place? The principal nerve supply of the bladder is by the way of the pelvic nerves, which connect with the spinal cord through the sacral plexus, mainly the connecting with the cord segments S2 and the S3, which you can see in this figure. Coursing through the pelvic nerves are both the sensory nerve fiber and the motor nerve fiber. The sensory fiber detect the degree of stretch in the bladder wall. The stretch signal from the posterior urethra are especially strong and are mainly responsible for initiating the reflexes that cause the bladder emptying. The motor nerve transmit in the pelvic nerves are the parasympathetic fiber. These fibers terminate on the ganglion cell located in the wall of the bladder. Short postganglionic nerves that innervate the detrusor muscles. In addition to the pelvic nerves, two other types of innervations are important in the bladder function. Most important are the skeletal motor fibers transmitted through the pudendal nerve to the external bladder sphincter. These fibers are somatic nerve fibers that innervate and control the voluntary skeletal muscles of the sphincter. The bladder receives sympathetic innervation from the sympathetic chain through the hypogastric nerves, connecting mainly with the L2 segments of the spinal cord. These sympathetic fibers stimulate mainly the blood vessels and have little to do with bladder contraction. Some sensory nerve fiber also pass by the way of sympathetic nerves and may be important in the sensation of fullness and in some instances the pain. The transport of the urine from the kidney through the ureter and into the bladder. Urine that is expelled from the bladder has essentially the same composition as flowing out of the collecting ducts, and there is no significant change in their composition as it flows through the renal calyces and the ureter to the bladder. The wall of ureter contains smooth muscles that are innervated both sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves as well as the intramural plexus of neuron and the nerve fiber that extend along the entire length of peristaltic contraction in the ureter are enhanced by the parasympathetic stimulation and inhibited by the sympathetic stimulation. The ureter enters the bladder through the detrusor muscles in the trigone region of the bladder as shown. Normally, the ureter courses obliquely for the several centimeters through the bladder wall. The normal tone of the detrusor muscle in the bladder wall tend to compress the ureter, therefore preventing backflow or reflux of urine from bladder. When pressure builds up in the bladder during micturition or bladder compression, each peristaltic wave along the ureter increases the pressure within the ureter. In some people, the distance that ureter courses through the bladder wall is less than the normal, and thus the contraction of bladder during micturition does not always lead to complete occlusion of the ureter. As a result, the urine in the bladder is propelled backward. This condition is called as vesicoureteral reflex. Such reflex can lead to enlargement of the ureter where it can increase the pressure in the renal calyces and the structure of the renal medulla, causing damage to this region. So, the action potential generated by the stretch receptors that reflexes arc generate the action potentials. So it stimulates the smooth muscle lining. So how the filling of bladder and bladder wall will be help for the widening of urine. So the stretch receptor also send action potential to the pons if it is okay to urinate. Action potential from pons excites smooth muscle of bladder and relaxes the internal urethral sphincter, which also leads to relax the external urethral sphincter. If it is not okay, the action potential keep the external urethral sphincter will be contracted. Changes in the intravesical pressure as the bladder fills. When there is no urine in the bladder, the intravesical pressure is about 0, but by the time 30 to 50 of the urine collected, the pressure rises up to 5 to 10 centimeter. Additional urine 200 to 300 can collect the only small additional rise. This constant level of pressure is caused by the intrinsic tone of the bladder wall. Beyond 300 to 400 milliliter, collection of more urine in the bladder causes the pressure to rise rapidly. So, the superimposed on tonic pressure changes during filling of the bladder are periodic, acute increase in pressure that lasts from 3 seconds to more than a minute. The pressure peak may rise only a few centimeters of water or may rise to more than 100 centimeters of water. These pressure peaks are called the micturition waves. You can see in the picture of the cystometrograms and are caused by the micturition reflex. The micturition contraction begin to appear as it can changes with aging, decline in number of functional nephron. It can reduction of the GFR, reduction sensitivity to the antidiuretic hormone, and also if there is problem with the micturition reflex. Once the micturition reflex begins, it is self-regenerated, that is initial contraction of the bladder. So, if their pressure will be greater, increase in the sensory impulses from the bladder and the posterior urethra, which cause a further increase in reflex contraction of the bladder. Thus, the cycle is repeated again and again until the bladder has reached a strong degree of contraction. Then, after a few seconds to a more than a minute, the self-regenerated reflex begin to fatigue and the regenerative cycle of micturition reflex cease, permitting the bladder to relax. Thus, the micturition reflex is a single complete cycle progression and rapid increase of pressure, second, the period of sustained pressure, and third, return of the pressure to the basal tone of bladder. Once a micturition reflex has occurred but has not succeeded in emptying bladder, the nervous element of this reflex usually remain in an inhibited stage for a few minutes to an hour or more before another micturition reflex occur. As the bladder become more and more filled, micturition reflex occur more and more often and more powerfully. Once the micturition reflex become powerful enough, it causes another reflex which pass through the pudendal nerve to the external sphincter. If this constrictor signals to the external sphincter, urination will occur. If not, urination will not occur until the bladder fills still further. So, we will discuss about some abnormalities of the micturition. Number 1 is the atonic bladder and the incontinence caused by destruction of the sensory nerve fiber. Micturition reflex contraction cannot occur if the sensory nerve fiber from the bladder to spinal cord are destroyed. Therefore, preventing transmission of stretch signal from the bladder. When this happens, a person loses bladder control despite intact efferent fiber from the cord to the bladder, and despite intact neurogenic contraction within the brain. Instead of emptying periodically, the bladder fill to capacity and overflow a few drops at a time through the urethra. This occurrence is called as overflow incontinence. Atonic bladder and the incontinence by destruction of sensory nerve fiber, preventing transmission of stress signal from the bladder. Person lose bladder control despite intact of spinal fibers, and in bladder overflow a few drop called overflow incontinence causes as the crush injury of sacral region of the spinal cord, syphilis, fibrosis around dorsal root nerve fiber called the tabes dorsalis, and the result bladder condition is called as tabetic bladder. And next abnormality is the automatic bladder. Automatic bladder caused by the spinal cord damage above the sacral region. If the spinal cord is damaged above the sacral region but the sacral cord segments are still intact, typical micturition reflex can still occur. However, they are no longer controlled by the brain. During the first few days to several weeks after the damage to cord has occurred, the micturition reflexes are suppressed because of the state of spinal shock. It is caused by the sudden loss of facilitative impulses from the brainstem and the cerebrum. If the bladder is emptied periodically by the catheterization to prevent bladder injury caused by the overstretching of bladder, the excitability of the micturition reflex gradually increases until typical micturition reflexes return. Then the periodic bladder emptying occur. Some patients can still control urination in this condition by stimulating the skin, scratching or tickling in the genital region, which sometimes elicit a micturition reflex. Now next is the neurogenic bladder. Another abnormality is the uninhibited neurogenic bladder caused by a lack of inhibitory signals from the brain. It is also called as uninhibited neurogenic bladder, which result in frequent and relatively uncontrolled micturition. This condition derived from partial damage in the spinal cord or the brainstem that interrupt most of the inhibitory signal. Therefore, facilitative impulses passes continually down the cord keep the sacral center so excitable that even a small quantity of urine elicit an uncontrollable micturition reflex, thereby promoting the frequent urination. So, by lack of inhibitory signal, uncontrolled micturition due to partial damage in the spinal cord or the brainstem, facilitative impulses passing continually down the cord keep the sacral center so excitable even small quantity of urine can elicit a micturition reflex which leads to the frequent urination. Thank you. These are all about the micturition reflex and the neurogenic control and some abnormality. So this is end of our lecture. I hope you will understand. Thank you.